Welcome to part 6 of your final exam review video solutions. This is going to be about chapter 6, these 6 problems here. Let's start at number 1. It says, what is the domain of this function? And I'm going to remind you that domain is the x values that you can plug in. So we're going to look to see if there's any x values we can't plug in. So for a rational function, that means you want to make sure that there is not going to be a 0 in the denominator. And so we want to look and say, okay, well, just ignore the numerator for now. What would make this denominator 0? I'm going to go ahead and solve. I'm going to subtract 20, just make that little equation here, and divide by 4. That means x cannot be negative 5. If I plug that in, I get undefined. But everything else, I can plug in negative numbers, I can plug in 0, I can plug in positive numbers, I just can't plug in negative 5. And so I'm going to start my domain at the negativest it can be, which is negative infinity. And I'm going to say it goes all the way to negative 5. And I'm not going to include negative 5, so I put parentheses. And then I'm going to put a u, because I'm going to have two parts to this. So I'm going to have then negative 5 again, all the way to now positive infinity, because remember everything else was okay, but just not negative 5. If we were going to graph this one, you would have what is called the vertical asymptote at negative 5, but you just have plug in points around it and figure out how the graph looks around it. Alright, number 2 says to divide and then simplify. Anytime you divide, you're going to need to flip the second fraction. Let's go ahead and just write out what we have so far in number 2. I'm going to expand that, just writing the x plus 4 twice, over 5, can't do anything with the 5, and then I'm going to flip the second fraction and change this to multiplication. So 125 over, let's go ahead and take out that GCF of 7 there, so I'm left with x plus 4. And now before we multiply everything, we're just going to see if anything crosses out. We've got x plus 4 on the top here and on the bottom there. And then we can do 125 divided by 5 is just 25. Nothing else crosses out. So we have 25 times that x plus 4 over just 7. That's all that's left in the denominator. And if you want to distribute the 25, you get 25x plus 100 over 7. That works too. Alright, number 3, we're going to add or subtract and simplify. Again, we're going to need to use factoring. And so this top one is a fast trinomial. I just need to add to be 20 and multiply to be 20, add to be 12. So that's going to be y plus 2 and y plus 10. Now my denominator, another fast trinomial. I just need to multiply to be 12 and add to be 8. So that's going to be plus 2 and plus 6. Minus 2y plus 1 over y plus 6. Now there's a couple of different ways we can attack this. Notice already on this fraction on the left, I already have something I can cross out because it's in the top and the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. And now I don't need to make a common denominator because they already both have y plus 6. If I did, I would just multiply something on top and bottom of each fraction until the bottom denominator is matched. And so, because I don't need to change the denominator, I'm just going to go ahead and write this on its own. Y plus 10 minus, I'm going to go put parentheses around the 2 and the 1 so I don't forget the minus is there. And I have y plus 6 in my denominator. Let's distribute that minus. So y plus 10 minus 2y, don't forget to take it to the 1 as well, over y plus 6. So y minus 2y is negative y, 10 minus 1 is positive 9. Now I can't, because there's those plus signs, I can't cross anything out, so I'm just done. Negative y plus 9 over y plus 6. Alright, number 4, we're going to solve for a. I'm just going to go ahead and give myself some room and write it down here. So 1 over f equals 1 over a plus 1 over b. Now this one, I definitely would need a common denominator to get rid of the fractions and get the a out of the denominator. So I'm just going to say the common denominator has all 3. It's fab! All 3 letters here. So that means on number 1, I'm going to multiply by fab or not number 1, but on this first fraction, multiply by fab. Instead of getting common denominator, I'm just multiplying by that term and seeing what crosses out. So the f's cross out for this one. I'm left with a b. Scroll down, and notice some a's cross out. I'm left with f, b. And on the last one, I'm going to cross out the b's. I'm left with f, a. Now I'm trying to get a alone, so let's go ahead and collect all the ones that have a on the same side. So subtract fa from both sides. And because I can't combine those, I need to factor out the a so that it can be alone. So I'm left with b minus f equals fb. I'm going to go ahead and divide by that whole thing. B minus f. So final answer, fb over b minus f is equal to a. Okay, that was number 4. Number 5, we're going to actually solve for x, get it alone. So I'm going to need again to multiply by some common denominator. The nice thing about this is they're already pretty close to each other. I just need another x on these. So I'm going to have my common denominator be 2x. Okay. So I already have 1 over 2x on the first one. So that means that whole denominator crosses out. I'm just left with 1. And multiply by 2x. There's nothing to cross out because there is no denominator on this second one. And so now it's just 4x. Multiply by 2x here, and the x's cross out, but there's still a 2, so minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. We're going to go ahead and add 2 to both sides, so I get 3 equals 4x divided by 4, x equals 3/4. That's my answer. And that's not going to give me any zeros in the denominator, so that's a safe answer. It's not extraneous. Alright, number 6, more words, right? If one pump takes 4 hours, let me go ahead and write myself a little fraction here, to pump water to a pool that holds 3,900, so 3,900 gallons in 4 hours. There's my ratio. How long would it take the same pump, so it should be the same ratio, to fill a pool of 4,900 gallons? And so we're just going to set up this little proportion. We don't know x, we don't know how long it takes. So I'm going to cross multiply, or you can multiply by 4 both sides, if that helps you to see it. So I have 3,900x equals 4 times 4,900, which was 19,600. Divide both sides by 3,900. And this is not going to be a pretty number. You can plug it in the calculator if you want. But it's going to equal to about 5.026 hours. A little over 5 hours for that next pump. Alright, those are your video solutions for chapter 6. Go ahead and watch the next video for chapter 7.